Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start today's video with a story about a shady apartment complex takeover that went from bad to worse. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Management lied about our water bills, so my data analyst friend brought receipts. When our apartment complex was bought out by a new management company in June 2023, I didn't expect things to change much. I'd been living here since September 2022 and in other units in the same complex for about 3 years before that. My best friends, Cole and Phoebe, live on the other side of the property. Right after the takeover, management shut down the existing resident and rent portals and swapped us over to new ones. The changeover was a mess. It took over a month before the new system even worked, but the real trouble didn't start until August. On August 2nd, I logged into the new portal to pay rent. As always, I checked my utility breakdown. Normally it lists water, trash, sewer, cam fees, and the tech package. I know my bills well. My water's almost always between $30 and $40. This time it was $91. That big of a jump in the middle of the year set off alarms. I emailed the front office. The assistant manager brushed me off, saying it was an increase from the water district and they had no control over it. It was a don't shoot the messenger tone. Still suspicious, I called Cole and Phoebe. Their bill was $120, more than double their norm. They'd been told the same thing. When Cole asked if the office would investigate, they told him it wasn't their job. Cole happens to be a data analyst. Asking questions and finding answers is literally his profession. He contacted the water district and the regional water authority repeatedly. Every single time he got the same answer. We never raise rates mid-year and never by that much. Your complex is lying to you. They need to investigate. Cole compiled all this into a detailed email to management. He even cited meeting minutes from the water authority outlining their rate plans for the next several years. He also included other issues, missing gate spikes that allow cars to drive in the wrong way, gym access requests that had gone unanswered for weeks, and the frequently broken pool and gates. From my own calls to the water district, an employee named Lisa confirmed our rates increased in January this year. We do not raise them in the middle of the year. Cole also created graphs and data sheets using ledgers from the front office to back up his findings. We waited for a response. None came. When Cole went in person, the staff suggested he try calling our utility company, UB West. UB West told him the complex's contract with them had ended in mid-July. The new utility provider was Conservice, which had only started with us on August 1st and had no prior records. Cole called UB West back and pushed for backdated billing data. They escalated him to the financial manager for our account. That's when the real bomb dropped. She told Cole she had already flagged the water bill spike to the leasing office manager and told her an investigation was legally required, and then never heard back. Shortly afterward, the contract was terminated. By now, we were both playing detective. The more we learned about how the bills were calculated, the more obvious it became that the front office's story didn't add up. They seemed annoyed with our persistence and told us to take it up with corporate, so we did. Cole forwarded everything to corporate, the emails, the documents, the conflicting statements, and some of the bizarre replies he'd gotten in person. Sorry, I'm new and trying to figure this out about the water bill. We don't have access to this anymore. When I showed I'd overpaid $2,000. We have a button that calls the police and our attorney. When I asked why no update. Have you considered your car being stolen was a test from God? Said to Phoebe after her car was stolen from inside the property. Corporate. Anytime security, the gate, or shooting incident on the property was mentioned. Corporate responded within 24 hours. The district manager called Cole directly after reviewing all the information. Cole told me she opened with a sincere apology and then dropped the big news. The entire leasing office staff had been terminated immediately. She called the test from God comment unacceptable. She promised the gates would be fixed, the exit spikes reinstalled within a week, and that she would personally investigate all tenants' water bills. She was also shocked to learn about the shooting and the car theft. Neither had been reported to corporate by the local manager, even though they were supposed to be. In a few weeks, a new front office team sent directly from corporate would take over, and finally, someone in charge was going to dig into the mess we'd been dealing with for months. Wow, great sleuthing. I imagine corporate was just relieved you didn't have lawyers or the city involved yet. I hope all the tenants get refunded any money they were defrauded of. Shame about the spikes, though. Those things are evil. And our second story. Karen tried to get me fired from Marks & Spencer. So here we go. My wife and I had a long day. It was getting late, and the only supermarket open locally was the Marks & Spencer food hall. Now, this is an expensive place to buy food, but it was late, and we were on our way home. At the time, I'd finished a long day in London attending various meetings. Because of the meetings, I was fully suited and booted, as they say in the UK. I was wearing a handmade blue pinstripe suit, a pale blue shirt with gold cufflinks, and a red tie. In addition, as it was winter, I had a black overcoat on and leather gloves. In no way did I look like any employee. We went about our shopping and took our goods to the checkout. Whilst my wife was unloading and packing, she does like to do things in a certain way, I spied a small seat attached to the other checkout area. Now the lights on this conveyor were out, and I was just leaning there, so up come the most stupid people I've ever encountered. They started unloading on the closed conveyor belt. I thought best to ignore them. Then one of the couples comes up to me and says, "Are you going to service?" I politely said, "Sorry, I don't work here," and turned my back. "So you're not going to service then?" I heard and ignored it. After asking the same question a few times and being ignored, they told me they were going to fetch a manager and have me fired. I started laughing, which made them more angry. Just as we're finishing our packing and I'm about to pay when they turn up with a manager, point to the conveyor belt and then to me, demanding the manager fire me for rudeness, refusal to serve them, and making jokes about them. The poor manager just stood there and said, "But they're customers. He's paying for his shopping." He is not and has never been an employee of this store. He's wearing a suit and an overcoat. How did you think he was an employee? The answer from the Karen type was, and I quote, "Does that mean he won't service?" The poor manager loaded up their trolley and took them to an open checkout. It was our cashier who came out with a perfect ending. She said, "The problem is they have the right to vote." Scary, isn't it? More proof that when a Karen doesn't hear the exact words she wishes to hear, said words do not register with her whatsoever. She expected to hear, "I'll fire OP at once." Since those words weren't spoken, the manager might as well have been speaking Klingon. And our last story. Our neighbor used our lake cabin for 4th of July parties without asking. A few years ago, my husband and I bought a small but beautiful lake cabin in northern Minnesota. A little slice of peace where we escape city life to kayak, grill, and watch the sunset. We only make it up there for a few weekends each summer, plus a week or two during the holidays. On our first summer there, we met the neighbors, mostly retirees or seasonal residents. Everyone seemed pleasant enough, except for one woman who immediately stood out. Let's call her Karen. Mid-50s, loud, overly friendly in a way that felt fake and somehow already acting like she had authority over everyone's property. She lived 2 houses down year-round, and I got the impression she was the self-appointed lake sheriff. Normally, we visit over Memorial Day, the 4th of July, and Labor Day, but last year, heavy spring flooding and some family health issues kept us home for Memorial Day. Then the 4th of July fell on a Thursday, and we decided to skip the long drive and stay in town to help a relative recovering from surgery. That's when things got weird. Earlier in June, Karen's granddaughter, maybe 7 or 8 years old, saw my husband outside when we were at the cabin and asked, "Will you be at the lake for the 4th?" My husband told her, "Probably not this year." She looked disappointed but didn't say why. Fast forward to late June, and a different neighbor, bless her, quietly let me know something. Every 4th of July, when we're not there, Karen has been hosting parties at our cabin. Not just a few people hanging out, she's been inviting friends and extended family to swim off our dock, use our kayaks, barbecue on our deck, and even go inside the cabin to grab drinks. Apparently, they always cleaned up afterwards, so we never suspected anything. Our motion lights, dock gate, and even our basic outdoor camera didn't deter them because Karen knew the blind spots, and she also knew where we hid the spare key for emergencies. We had never given her permission. The only thing we'd ever allowed was for neighbors to retrieve a stray ball or fishing lure if it ended up near our dock. My husband was livid. I was just stunned. The violation of trust and the audacity floored me. So he called our friend Dave, who installs high-end security systems. Within a week, we had a plan. New cameras covering the dock, doors, and driveway, plus a smart lock system, so only we could grant temporary access codes. And yes, Dave convinced my gadget-loving husband to add a few extra toys like motion alerts to our phones and a solar-powered camera for the boat shed. We decided not to confront Karen immediately. Instead, we'd be at the cabin for the 4th this year to see if she tried anything. Sure enough, July 4th morning, as we sat on the deck with coffee, Karen strolled up our dock like she owned the place, beach bag over her shoulder, towel in hand, and sunglasses perched like she was about to star in a resort commercial. She froze when she saw us, then tried to play it off. "Oh, I didn't think you'd be here." "I was just checking if everything was okay," she stammered. My husband stood up and said, "Karen, you do not have permission to be on our property. We know you've been using our cabin while we're gone. That stops today. You and anyone you've brought here are no longer welcome on our dock, in our yard, or anywhere inside this cabin. We'll be sending you a formal notice, and the property is now under 24/7 camera surveillance. Any trespassing will be reported to law enforcement." Her face went red. She sputtered something about just trying to keep the place from feeling abandoned and making sure no one vandalized it. My husband cut her off. "We never asked you to do that. You've been throwing parties here. We have witnesses." She stormed off, muttering about ungrateful city people. Later that afternoon, we watched from the deck as she and a group of would-be party guests arrived, only for her to turn them away with an awkward wave. She hasn't set foot on our property since, but we still catch her glaring at our cameras when she walks her dog. This summer, we're keeping the cabin locked up tight, and if Karen tries anything again, she's getting a police escort right off our dock. Also, ring your insurer to confirm coverage/umbrella since uninvited guests create liability. After that, enjoy your cabin. The lake sheriff can glare at the cameras all she wants. The only badge that matters is the one on the deputy's boat. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.